Happy Purim! You probably wondered why I'm sitting here dressed up like a fish. And that is because I am a fish. Well, no, I'm not really a fish. I'm wearing a fish costume. Tomorrow night, boys and girls and some adults around the entire world of the Jewish people will be dressing up and celebrating Purim. We know that Purim is a holiday that everyone around the world, regardless of their affiliation in Judaism, celebrates. It's a day that we celebrate the victory of light over darkness, of good over evil. But what does it mean? And what does it mean personally to us? And why do we dress up? You know, part of the reason we dress up is to pretend or act like we're someone or something else. Just because I'm dressed like a fish doesn't make me a fish, obviously. But we dress up every Purim because we play. We get into a costume and we pretend to be someone or something else. Interesting enough, the Hebrew word for to get dressed or to dress comes from the same root letters as the Hebrew word as to search. And part of this concept of dressing up is directly connected to our inner search for identity and for purpose, to recognize who we truly are. You know, interesting enough, our sages teach us that the miracle of Purim took place not when the decree of the king was overturned and Haman's evil decree was overturned and the Jewish people won victory over our enemies. You would think that is the miracle of Purim. But the truth is the miracle of Purim took place when the king's sleep was disturbed. When the king awoke from his sleep and was disturbed is the actual main miracle of Purim. So we know that everything that applies one time in our history applies all the time. The Torah is a living, breathing book, and it is something that has relevance to every single time and every single generation. So our sages teach us that the waking up of the King Achashverosh, is directly connected to the waking up of the King of all kings, Hashem, above. So what does that mean? Why did Hashem wake up, and why was he sleeping? The reality of it is that the Maggid of Mezrich teaches us. There's a pasuk in the Torah that says, know what is above from you. Literally meaning, what is above is from you. Meaning, how we relate to God is how God relates to us. Midah keneged midah, measurement for measurement. So what happened was the Jewish people were asleep. We were asleep in the exile. We were pretending that we weren't Jewish. We put on clothing and costumes of our non-Jewish neighbors. Inside, we knew we were Jewish. Just like today, every single Jew unequivocally knows that we're Jewish, and we don't deny we're Jewish. But we wear a costume, and we forget what that means to be Jewish. What it means to be Jewish is to live in a Jewish way, to serve Hashem, to fulfill his mitzvot, to learn his Torah, to fulfill the divine purpose of why we came into the world, which is to spread light among the nations of the world. How do we do that? God gave us an instruction manual, a book. But when we forget about who we are and we go to sleep from our job in the world, guess what happens? God, so to speak, goes to sleep also. So what happened when the decree against the Jewish people was issued? We woke up. We said, hold on a second. We're not going to bow down to Haman either. We're not going to convert. For an entire year, every single Jew in the world did not even think for one moment about converting against their Judaism. Instead, they woke up and said, we're Jews and we're proud. And they woke up and they wanted to keep Torah and they wanted to keep mitzvahs. And then guess what happened? God woke up. God said, you woke up? You realize you're Jewish? Well, I woke up also. And I also realized that you're my chosen people. Because when you're asleep, you can't tell the difference between good and bad, right and wrong, light and darkness. And when the Jewish people were sleeping in the exile, we forgot what is good, godly, and what is wrong, what we think may be right. And therefore, God also forgot, so to speak, that we're his chosen people. And he treated us like anyone else. So when we awaken and do what we need to do, guess what happens? God awakens and does what he has to do. And that's the miracle of Purim. The miracle of Purim, and it takes place every single generation, once again, and every year. If we look around us, we see once again Hashem will protect us and destroy our enemies. People are all of a sudden anti-Semitic is now in fashion again. Anti-Semitism doesn't go away. It remains hidden right underneath the surface until it's popular to come out again. And then all of a sudden, boom, it starts spreading again. How do we defeat anti-Semitism? By being Jewish. By realizing that regardless of what we look on the outside, we're different inside. We have a godly soul. We have a godly purpose that doesn't make us better. but it makes us different and with a higher level of responsibility. And the greatest joy in the world, there's no greater joy and no greater happiness and no greater peace than to connect to our inner essence, to our inner soul, and to do what it is that God put us in this world to do. And when our hearts open up and our love for God is revealed, we're able to receive the tremendous love that God has for each and every one of us. So this Purim, I bless you all and all the Jewish people that we should wake up, we should be Jewish, we should live Jewish, we should act Jewish, and most importantly, God should wake up and stop this whole entire concealments and bring Mashiach now. God bless you. May you have a happy and joyous Purim.